Oh God. Oh yeah. Hey everybody, it's me again. I gotta tell you my review before she finds me. Tonight, I saw the new Blair Witch movie, which is a direct sequel to the 1990 horror film, The Blair Witch Project. Before I get to that, I gotta tell you about the 1999 movie for background. So if anybody who doesn't want any spoilers, please avoid this, okay? So The Blair Witch is a direct sequel to the 1999 horror movie, The Blair Witch Project. And that was a movie that followed the three student filmmakers, Heather, Josh, and Mike, as they're recounting their stories that they have heard from over the years about the Blair Witch who lives up in Maryland. And during their journey, they have all this weird stuff happen to them, okay? They find figurines, they hear cackling, they hear children in the forest, and it all ultimately leads up to them going to a farmhouse in the middle of the woods where they eventually get killed and nobody knows what happens to them. Fast forward to the Blair Witch, and it's 20 years later, and you're following James, who is Heather's brother, and he's always wanting to figure out what's happening to her, but he doesn't know. And he enlists the help of his friends, one of which is a documentary filmmaker who's going to make a movie about their experiences trying to figure out the truth. So you follow the four of them to meet with another couple who claim to have found a tape that led them to know about where the farmhouse is. And they go on this journey in the woods, and as you may guess, they run into the Blair Witch. So what did I like about the movie? The last act of the movie wasn't every bit on par of what the original film did. It was psychologically horrifying. It was fast-paced. It was intense. You know what was going to happen. You actually feared for the characters that were around, and you didn't know what was going to take place. So the second thing I liked about the movie was the acting. Whenever the characters were facing the Blair Witch, you felt their fear, all right? You actively felt that they were in danger. You felt fearful for them. And this takes you into the actual environment of the movie, which is my third thing that I liked about it. They set up the environment perfectly to be on par as well with the Blair Witch. From the fears, from the noises, the atmosphere, the figurines that you saw, you believed everything. You felt like you were back there in the same force as Heather and her crew were from the original film. So for what I didn't like about the movie. Alright, so the movie was too slow in the beginning. They were trying to develop the characters, which didn't really work. Oh God! Okay, I gotta hurry up. Alright, so they were trying to develop the characters, and they were going too slow with it. With too many characters in the movie, they really didn't have time to put too much attention to each character. So there are characters that you didn't really feel for. There are characters that you really never learned about. So they were being taken away by the Blair Witch. You never felt for them. You weren't feeling any feel for them. Alright. Okay, I gotta hurry up. The second thing I didn't like about the movie was the jump scares, right? Oh my God. Okay, so that actually worked right there, but in the movie they did not work. Okay, they were doing them too often, and they were not effective. Right? It was cheap jump scares that you see from the movie, and they never work. Okay, they might work. You get scared for a few seconds, but you're taken away from that element, and then you put back in, and you're not scared anymore, right? They had none of the psychological horror effects from the beginning part of the movie that they only had in the end of the movie, which is what made the original Blair Witch Project so good. The third thing I didn't like about the movie was that there were too many camera angles for the first two acts. What made the original Blair Witch so effective was the fact that there were only 2 camera angles that you ever saw at any given point, so it felt a lot more claustrophobic with the situation you're in. By giving each character their own camera angle through a Bluetooth earpiece camera, along with a separate camera that the one I'm using right now, along with a drone, never made you feel like you were claustrophobic. You had too many angles, which allowed you to see too much of the environment, so you had more going on, so you never really felt as if you were in this claustrophobic environment, even though it was in giant forest. Alright, so for the last thing, what I think I would have done better, I would have injected more psychological horror into the first 2 acts of the movie. The third act was almost perfect with the psychological horror that was a representation of the Blair Witch Project movie that it was preceding it. This movie had nothing for the first 2 acts as far as psychological horror. It had cheap jump scares and other horror elements from horror movies today that didn't really make you feel afraid or see it as it being a good sequel to the original film. Second, I would have had less camera angles in the movie. What made the original movie so fearful was that you only had 2 camera angles and you were never away from the entire group. By allowing these characters to go off on their own adventures and have those views and different angles didn't allow you to really feel like they were in this claustrophobic environment in this vastly dense forest. So eliminating the various camera angles that they had would have allowed it to be more intimate with these characters. Oh god, okay, that's enough about what I would have done differently. I gotta get to the actual review. That's right. So what would I give this review? What would I give this movie? I would give it a 2, alright? It's not a bad movie. The third act makes up for what was missing and bad about the first 2 acts. But you can't help but feel that it was very sluggish and very slow to get through those first 2 acts to get to the third act, which is what the director was trying to mimic the entire time. The third act was fear, was horror, was you didn't know what was going to come around the corner. Well, with the first 2 acts, you could feel that the fear was coming and you knew when it was going to hit. So after all that, what do I think? It's a 2. Oh god, go away! Oh god, I forgot about Allison this entire time. I forgot about her. Babe? Hon? Babe? Allison? Where are you? Oh god. Oh god! No! Ah!